Hi, welcome along to Britain's second city. Now, the people of Manchester might disagree with me. They might say that they're the second city, but actually all the official statistics say otherwise. Britain's second city is actually Birmingham. It's certainly the second biggest city, and it certainly has a heck of a lot of traffic, as I discovered earlier on today when I was driving to this Travelodge. Today I'm at a Travelodge right smack bang in the centre of Birmingham. There are quite a lot of Travelodges in Birmingham, but this one is about the most central of the lot. In a few moments I'm going to give you a room tour of this room, and I have to say I've been very impressed with it, so don't miss my room tour. But before I do that, I'm just going to tell you very briefly about some of the other Travelodges here at Birmingham, because there are a lot on offer and they're all very reasonably priced as well. So this one is the most central. It's next to the Bullring, which is an absolutely massive shopping centre in Birmingham, but there are lots of others in the centre of Birmingham as well. So first of all, I'm going to tell you a bit about what is available in Birmingham if you want to stay at a Travelodge, but keep watching afterwards because I'm going to give you a room tour and I'm going to give you some advice on what to do if you stay here, some of the good points, the bad points, and I'll tell you whether I would stay in this Travelodge again. But first of all, what is available if you want to stay at a Travelodge in Birmingham? Well, there are 5 main Travelodges in the centre of Birmingham. There are lots more in the suburbs, but in this film I'm just dealing with the 5 central Travelodges. And this map shows where they are. Now, where you want to stay will depend partly on what you're actually doing in Birmingham. The shopping centre tends to be more on the right-hand side of the map, and the entertainments district and the conference district more on the left side of the map. And then at the top you've got the jewellery quarter. So, if you want to mainly go shopping, then the 2 best Travelodges to choose are the Central Bullring Travelodge and the Central Moore Street Travelodge. And the Moore Street Travelodge is also slightly closer to the main universities in Birmingham. If you're more interested in the jewellery quarter, then the Central Newhall Street Travelodge is closest to the jewellery quarter. And the Central Broadway Plaza and the Birmingham Central Travelodge are both in the entertainments district, so they're near the theatres, the conference centre, the Utilita Arena, and where all the conferences and events tend to be held. Now, I do need to stress that they're all within walkable distance, so it doesn't really matter too much which one you choose to stay in, but that just gives you a rough idea. Now let's take a look at the Bullring Travelodge. Okay, well, let's have a look inside the room. Now, the very first thing I have to say is this is an incredibly spacious room. It's probably the most spacious Travelodge I've ever stayed in, but there might be a reason for that. And that is, for whatever reason, they've given me a family room. Now, I'm here on my own, so I didn't ask for a family room. I wasn't expecting a family room. And I don't think they've given me this room because they know that I'm making a film. I think they would have given me this room anyway. The hotel is fairly full. There's a concert on tonight at the Arena that I know a lot of people are going to who are staying at this hotel. So I don't think they've given me any kind of special treatment because I'm making the film. But the room is very spacious, incredibly spacious. And from what I understand, I think most of the rooms here are fairly spacious. Probably not quite as spacious as this because of it being a family room, but I think they are pretty big rooms anyway. There's a nice comfortable chair and nowhere to put your bags, so I always end up putting my laptop case and my camera equipment just on the chair. I suppose I could just put it on the floor, I guess. Why not? Doesn't really matter, does it? It is somewhat nice at some hotels where they do actually give you something to put your bag on, though. The 2 chairs, 2 comfortable chairs. Now, I should mention this is not one of the Travelodge super rooms. It's just a standard room, but it is what they call a new look room. And if you look on their website, you'll sometimes see them advertised as new look rooms. And the new look rooms, they have several features that you don't get in the old style rooms. So you get a nice comfortable chair rather than a plastic bucket chair. You get a nice desk chair that's more comfortable rather than those plastic chairs that they normally give you. You also get USB charging points, which is quite handy because it means you don't have to bring a charger with you. You can just stick your cable straight in to charge your phone up. Usual problem, they haven't really given me enough coffee and milk and that kind of thing, but they'll give you as much as you want down at reception if you just ask them. It's a very nice guy actually on reception, really friendly guy, and he won't have any problem giving me more coffee a bit later on. Obviously, as I say in all my films, I bring the snacks and wine and beer myself. They don't provide that. Just swinging around then. The window. Now the window is quite small, but it is letting in an amazing amount of light. This might just be because I'm at the side of the hotel that's getting the sun in the late afternoon. It's kind of late afternoon, early evening at the moment, and the room is incredibly bright. It is really nice, lots and lots of natural sunlight. You probably can't quite get that impression on this film, but in real life I can vouch for the fact that this room is just so light and airy, and it's lovely having so much natural light. I think it's, as I say, just because on this particular side of the hotel I've got the sun coming in the late afternoon, but it is really nice. It's spacious, it's light, it's airy, and it's got all you need really. They've provided a fan. It is a very hot day in summer. It's stiflingly hot. Can't say the word, stiflingly hot. And they don't have air conditioning in the standard rooms at Travelodge. You probably know that already. So instead they've provided a fan. So there's fans provided in every room. My fan didn't work when I arrived at the hotel. So I took it back down to reception and said, I've got to have a fan that works. I've got to have one that works. And the person at reception explained to me it's my fault because I didn't realise you have to put your room key in there to get the electrics to work. Now I know that is standard in a lot of hotels like Premier Inn, but it's quite unusual at Travelodge. There's very few Travelodges that have this system where the lights go out and all the electrics go off. And I didn't realise, so it's quite embarrassing. Went back down to reception and demanded another fan, and they says, oh no, it's not the fan, you just got to stick your card in there, which I've done a million times before at Premier Inn, but you just don't expect to do it at Travelodge. That's quite unusual. Lovely comfortable bed as usual. All the beds at Travelodge are very, very comfortable. I always give them top marks for comfort. That's great. Lots of lighting around the room as well. You get the lights next to your bed and up on the ceiling, and there's lights all over, but you don't really need them at the moment because it's such a bright room. It's absolutely fantastically bright in this room. Let's have a quick look at the bathroom. There's something in the bathroom that you don't normally get in a Travelodge, which you'll see in a moment. You always get a mirror, and you can see me in the mirror, and you always get the sink. Oh, rather, sorry, the basin. I was talking to a plumber not long ago, and he says you mustn't call it a sink, it's a basin. It's not a sink. If it's in a bathroom, it's a basin. If it's in a kitchen, it's a sink. And that's what all plumbers tell you. Can you guess what the extra thing is you get that you don't normally get in Travelodge? Well, I'll show you. A bath! Yay! It's quite rare to get a bath in a Travelodge, especially the newer ones. This Travelodge is fairly new. It's not brand new, but it's newish. And they've provided a bath, which is quite unusual. The downside is it's tiny. The last time I had a bath this small was in a hotel in Italy. I think it was Milan. But I was given a tiny bath. Now, I'm 6'1" tall. And so I'm going to enjoy having a bath tonight when I get back to my hotel room. But wow, I'm not going to fit in there. But at least I shouldn't complain because just having a bath at all in a Travelodge is very unusual. Normally they only give you a shower. So the fact that they're just given a bath is a good thing. You do get a shower as well. Get the shower there. So, and it's quite a good shower as well. It's fairly powerful. It's not a power shower, but it's fairly powerful. But you've also got a bath as well, which is fantastic. And you don't normally get those at Travelodges. And it's nice and clean as well if you look round the edges of the silicone. I always have a look at silicone. It's really clean, and the shower curtain's nice and clean. Everything's clean. It's wonderful. And a clean basin, not sink, a clean basin, and the big mirror. And I always mention this hairdryer. Do not provide a hairdryer at Travelodge, but ask for one at reception, and they'll give you one. Ask for one as soon as you arrive. Because they do tend to use them up very quickly. They have a short supply. So I always advise people, it's a little tip, when you arrive at reception at a Travelodge, the first thing you do is ask for a hairdryer, because if you go back in the evening, they might not have any left. So that's what I always do when I arrive. Okay, so that's the bathroom. It's lovely, it's clean, it has the added bonus of a bath. Or if you were a southerner, a bath. I say bath, southerners say bath. So that's it, that is the room. It's fantastic, it's spacious, it's light and airy, loads of natural light, 2 nice chairs to sit on. The one exception, I mentioned at the start there was an exception, the one exception is the TV, which is really disappointing. It's only a 24-inch TV. It's quite an old one, and something I like to do, which if you've seen my other films on YouTube, you'll know what I'm going to say. I bring a USB stick with me and I stick it in the USB port at the back up here, and then you can watch films. You can bring your own films or your Netflix box sets or whatever you want to watch. You can't do it on this TV because there is no USB port available. So if you bring a USB stick to watch films on, you can't do it on this TV. So I'm stuck tonight with just basic standard television. I can't watch any films that I wanted to watch, which I brought with me, but never mind. That's the only negative point. The usual other problem is coat hangers, which I mentioned in all my films. Actually, they have provided a reasonable number of coat hangers. I'm only here for 3 days. I'm staying 2 nights, and I'm on my own, so I only really need just room for my jacket. I won't even need the jacket because it's so hot at the moment. So, all in all, I'm really impressed with this room. I'm extremely impressed. It's spacious, it's light, it's nice, it's got everything you need. I'll talk to you a little bit later about the practicalities of the location of the Travelodge, which are also extremely good. But as far as the actual room goes, I would say I give it 8 out of 10 at least, maybe 9 out of 10. I think the one thing that lets it down, to be honest, is just this television. If they had a better TV, a bigger TV that I could watch films on, then I'd probably almost give this Travelodge a 10 out of 10. So, would I recommend this Travelodge and would I stay here again? Well, I definitely would recommend it and I definitely would stay here again. This Travelodge has lots of advantages and as far as I can see, only 1 or maybe 2 disadvantages. The main advantage is the location. It's right in the centre of Birmingham. It's about 5 minutes away from the Bullring Shopping Centre, which is the biggest shopping centre in the whole West Midlands. It's very close to the International Conference Centre, the Utility Arena, the Symphony Hall, the Rep Theatre. All the entertainments are all within walking distance. There are loads and loads and loads of excellent restaurants and pubs and wine bars and clubs. Everything is within walking distance. So a fantastic location. The rooms are very spacious, although I did mention earlier, possibly that's because they gave me a family room. But even then, as far as I understand it, the rooms are very spacious here. There's a really fast lift. The staff are all friendly and helpful. There's a nice bar downstairs. Everything about this Travelodge is really good. It's one of the new look rooms, so it's very modern, it's extremely clean, the bathroom's clean. The bathroom even has a bath, which you don't get very often at Travelodges. So they're all the advantages. The only 2 disadvantages, well, I've already mentioned the television, and I know you don't come to a place like Birmingham just to watch TV, but even then it was a bit of a disappointment having such a small TV that I couldn't stick my USB stick in and watch films, which I do like to do. And the other disadvantage is something which you probably know about already, and that is the lack of air conditioning. But that is standard throughout all Travelodges throughout the country, unless you stay in a super room. If you stay in one of the super rooms, you do get air conditioning. But here, I'm staying on a very hot day. All I've got is a fan. To be honest with you, it's not cooling the room down at all. So it has been extremely hot and sweaty. But that's par for the course. If you stay at a Travelodge, you don't get air conditioning in the standard rooms. Well, I hope you found that useful. There are lots of Travelodges here in Birmingham, and some of them are good, some of them are not quite so good. I have stayed in several of them, and I have to say this one that I'm staying in now near the Bullring is brilliant. It's definitely one of the best I've ever stayed in. Apart from the problem with the TV not being very good, apart from that, I think this is a fantastic Travelodge and it's in a fantastic location. Thanks for watching. My name is Darren Bugg. I make films all over Britain, in the big cities of Britain. Primarily, my films are aimed at business travellers, but it could just as well be for tourists, for families, or just solo travellers. So whatever the reason that you are travelling, if you've enjoyed this film, please, please, please like, share, all that kind of thing. And especially if you could subscribe to my channel, it will be a massive help. I don't just make films on budget hotels, I also make films on business and various other subjects as well. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy travelling, and I'll see you again very soon.